for their first win, doing the Florida Gator thing in the stands. Toronto striking first. Matt Sundin, top shelf. San Jose answers quickly. Ray Whitney beating Felix Potvin, but it was a short lead. 2-on-1. Mike Craig puts it in. That ties it at 2. Late in the second, it's Friesen on the breakaway, and he beats Felix the Cat for his first NHL goal, and Mom and Dad couldn't be prouder. Came to see it. Sharks win at 3-2. San Jose allowing just 7 shots on goal in the third. Arturs Urbe stopping all of those. Felix Potvin saved 21 in the losing effort.
Against the Leafs last spring. Rick Lee back behind the bench. He was suspended because of Gino Ojic's bad decision in the preseason, but he is there. Actually not back behind the bench. His first appearance, and what he sees is his team struggling with Kay Whitmore and net. Randy Wood pops one home, 1-0 Toronto. Vancouver ties it up on this play. Adams to Linden to Momesso. A very nice play over Felix Potvin's glove. Game tied at 1 in the second period. The Leafs take the lead. Matt Sundin with a knuckleball to Kay Whitmore, just waves at. Leafs take a 2-1 lead. Move to the third period now in a great sequence. Pavel Bure down the left side. Bure rips a shot, zings it off the goalpost. It hit the inside of the post, and back the other way the Maple Leafs come. Mike Gartner will try to turn the tables, and he will do it. He sends one into the net, not off the post, but just inside the post. That was a big turnaround. The Maple Leafs outplayed the Canucks, but probably by not a huge margin. One of the stories of the game was Whitmore not sharp in net, and Felix Potvin very shot. Toronto over Vancouver by a score of 6-2. The Leafs have lost Ken Baumgartner for at least 3 months with reconstructive surgery on his left shoulder. Momesso and Jelena with the goals for Vancouver. For Toronto, Wood, Sundin, Berg, Eastwood, and Mike Gartner with a pair. At the United Center, and an unusual sound. Wayne Mesmer not singing the national anthem. This is the first time when he was healthy in 14 years that he hasn't done so. Big banging by the Blackhawks. Russell on the count, and then Jeremy Roenick with a shot on Garth Butcher. Leaf fans are concerned their team can get a bit pushed around, and on this night they were. One shot by Murphy gets his own rebound, then zings it into the corner. 1-0 at that point for Chicago. Just 27 seconds later, Dirk Graham's slap shot is stopped with the rebound. A fat one goes to Brent Sutter, and Sutter untouched in front makes it 2-0 for Chicago. Maple Leafs cut into the lead here. Matt Sundin's first pass is blocked by Gary Suter, but the second one gets through to Doug Gilmour. Those two appear to be working well together. The Toronto trailing at 2-1. Unfortunately, the Leafs can't carry the momentum into the second period. Jeremy Roenick is stopped, but another fat rebound goes to Steve Smith. 3-1 for the Blackhawks. The Leafs, their own worst enemies. Garth Butcher, no-look pass, and he should have looked right onto the stick of Joe Murphy, and Murphy will go between the pads, and it trickles through. It was that kind of night for Pat Burns' Toronto Maple Leafs. They have not looked good this season. They beat Vancouver, and that's about all they can say that's been real positive. 4-1, Chicago over Toronto. Blackhawks clearly outplaying the Maple Leafs. Toronto with only 18 shots at Ed Belfour. Blackhawks have 9 goals in 2 games at the United Center. Murphy with a pair. Sutter with the other one, and Smith. It was Gilmour for Toronto. Chicago over the Leafs.
And by the way, Casey played. Curtis Joseph was out with a strained groin, and Jeff Sargent replaced Casey after the second goal. You're obviously watching Matt Sundin. He beats Trevor Kidd here. This was the game-winning goal at Maple Leaf Gardens. Great effort in goal by Kidd and by Felix Potvin, the #1 star for the Leafs. There's the final, 2-1 Toronto.
Panthers go on to win. Leafs and Stars. Toronto up 1-0 in the second. Nice angle for to score a goal. Todd Gill gets it by Darcy Wakaluk. 2-0 Toronto. And then their goaltender took over. Felix Potvin, the stop on Brent Gilchrist, and then whacks it out of play. Potvin again. Kevin Hatcher has all day and move in as far as you want, and Potvin rubs him with the glove stop. The Stars fans waving goodbye to the victory, and the Leafs win it by a score of 2-1.
Did not look as sharp as he usually does on it, but Reichel, you're not going to keep this guy off the scoreboard. The question is, did Felix lose it as it went by Todd Gill's leg? It ended.
All right, on we go to Toronto now, hosting San Jose. The Leafs needing production out of this man. Dave Andreychuk just 1 goal so far this season. This is where they need him. Leafs on the power play. Puck comes to Doug Gilmour. He loses it, but spins around and fires out to number 14, Dave Andreychuk. Quick release in the slot, and it's 1-0 Leafs. 23 seconds later, Leafs go on the power play. Todd Gill slaps one from the point, and Andreychuk able to get a stick on that. Redirect between Urbe's pads. 2-0 Toronto. 2-1 now. Matt Sundin takes a shot at the net, and Doug Gilmour not taken out in front, and he gets a stick on it and puts the rebound in. 3-1 Leafs. Leafs on the power play again. This time Mike Ridley off the post, and Terry Yake with a wide open crease and nobody near him. He pots that one. 4-1 Toronto, first period. So out comes Urbe, and in goes Wade Flaherty. Urbe had played every minute for the Sharks this season so far. Definitely in need of a breather. Flaherty, though, gets caught on that Leafs power play again. Boy, it was really rolling. up 4-2, and Dave Ellett blasts one from the point. Beats Flaherty to the far side, 5-2 Maple Leafs. But the power play carnage didn't end there. Dmitry Mironov sends Sundin in, and Sundin cuts hard, takes a big slash to the arm, but makes a good move there, in spite of the slash from Michael Sikora. Fifth power play goal of the night makes it 6-2 Toronto. They go on to win 7-3. Very convincing. Andrechuk and Gilmore with a couple of goals each. Yake, Ellett, and Sundin with the singles. By the way, the Sharks traded backup goalie Jimmy Waite back to Chicago for a fourth-round pick in 1997. The Maple Leafs with a very impressive power play with a very impressive victory at home against San Jose.
Long. He's over the line. Sharp angle for the net. He's around the goal. In there. Scores! Unable to shake it. He sure did that time. That pass. Out front. Andrechuk scores! Gilmore saw Andrechuk and put it right on the tape. And he scored.
Andrechuk made a real good play.
With a stick. Here's a pass in front. They scored! Renato got the pass in front and hit something in behind and bounced down in the crease area. Now it might have been Rick Chalkin. Gill shoots. He missed. Rebound. Eastwood got the rebound off the boards and scored just as the penalty expired. 14 seconds on the power play. Petit will get a shot. Scores! Gretzky put it back to Petit, and he ripped it home. And that's a power play goal for the Los Angeles Kings, who now have taken a 4-2 lead.
Dallas Stars, last time that Bob Gainey's team won in Toronto was 2 years ago. Doesn't look good early on. Jamie McCown throws a knuckler at the net, and it's tipped right there by Randy Wood. 1-0 for the Maple Leafs, and McCown says, whew, I knew this stick had at least one assist left in it. Moments later, Matt Sundin takes the feed from Gilmore. Those two work so well together. Number 11 on the year for Sundin. 2-0 for Toronto. Second period, Felix Potvin with a save on Courtnall, then the rebound right there to Corey Millen, but an excellent save by Potvin. Pat Burns calls his team over to the bench and says, settle down, guys. Let's build on that 2-0 lead, and they do. The youngster Kenny Janssen, the rookie, with his second goal, makes it 3-0 at that point. But 16 seconds into the third, a riser over the shoulder of Potvin by Peter Zezel, the ex-Maple Leaf. But yeah, that felt great. It's 3-1. And 42 seconds later, Trent Klatt with the feed of Dave Gagne. The lead is down to 1. The Stars swarming all over Zezel, wide open net, but he can't find it because Andrechuk's long reach comes into play. Zezel's shot goes over, and the Stars, perhaps seeing stars on this night. Leafs win it by a score of 3-2. Leafs led at 3-0. They hung on for a 3-2 victory. Stars' 5-game winning streak is over. 3-2 Toronto over Dallas.
Reach in those good hands. Gets himself in real good position here. You can see them to Hackett's right. A nice point shot by Todd Gill. Gets through. The rebound comes right to Sundin, who backhands it in. And the first goal of the hockey game is a big one for the Leafs this season. They're 10-4-2 when they get it, and they're 1-6-1 when they don't.
And in front, Gretzky shoots, hit the side of the net. Puck comes around, Sador sends it in front, scores! Lacroix! Tocchet off to his right. He'll leave it for him. Tocchet, in front, scores! Quinn! What a play by Tocchet. A minute and a half into the third period, working in the shutout, and several spectacular stops. What did I say? That one in off of Robert Lang, number 13, ricocheted off his skate. Quinn in over the line, Tocchet going to the front of the net, scores! Rick Tocchet makes it 3-1 LA.
Particularly at the Pacific Coliseum, Damian Rhodes gets a start for Toronto. His fourth straight. He has won 3 in a row for the Maple Leafs. He's a little hesitant there and then gets, so fortunate that the Canucks don't find the net. Leafs have their chances. Randy Wood in front, but Kirk McLean stacks the pads to rob him. Canucks strike on a terrible giveaway by Todd Gill. Coughs it up. Jeff Courtnall moves in and boom! Rips one at 15-footer. No chance for Damian Rhodes. 1-0 Vancouver. Later on in the second, Courtnall on the penalty shot, right on target before, but he shoots it wide. That is darn embarrassing. I got to say 1-0 for Vancouver still. Now, the Canucks get another one in the third. Herke Alume with a pass in front stop, but Jelena bangs it in 2-0 for the Canucks. The Maple Leafs cut it. Sundin with a chance. He can't score. Andrechuk can. They cut the lead at 2-1, but an empty netter by Christian Ruutu. Vancouver over Toronto by a score of 3-1. 16,150. That is the biggest figure of the year in Vancouver in terms of attendance. Their first sellout of the season. Damian Rhodes played very well in the fourth straight game, 30 saves, but Kirk McLean better at the other end. Vancouver with a big victory over Toronto, 3-1.
Some of the key players out of the lineup. Bill Ranford will have to pick up the slack in the first period. Randy Wood with the initial shot. Dave Andrechuk fights off Scott Pearson and stuffs in the rebound and crashes into Bill Ranford. 1-0 Toronto, and because of that collision, Ranford left the game with a sore hip. Freddie Brathwaite started the second period. With the game tied at 1, Shane Corson, Igor Kravchuk. Look at this passing. Corson to Kravchuk, back to Corson, and he slides it in from a tough angle. Oilers up 2-1. Then Mike Ridley on a nice individual rush for Toronto will get in past the defenseman and shovel it under Freddie Brathwaite, who probably should have had it. 7 on the season for Ridley. Game tied at 2. Just before the period ends, Randy Wood carries the puck over the line and then will rip a shot from the high slot, beating Brathwaite. 3-2 for the Maple Leafs. With just 21 seconds into the third, Mike Eastwood from behind the net feeds it out to Bill Berg. This is the checking line, the banging line, but they score a goal. 4 on the year for Berg. 4-2 Toronto. Oilers down by 1, showing some muscle. Luke Richardson nails Doug Gilmour at center ice. A good hit. They went after Richardson afterward because Gilmour stayed down, but you know what? That was a good open ice hit. The Leafs were down but not out. Final score here 4-3. And Bill Berg, Randy Wood, Mike Ridley, and Dave Andrechuk doing the scoring for Toronto, as you see Corson, Thornton, and Kravchuk for Edmonton. The keys here, though, not who scored, but who got hurt. Dmitry Mironov, second-degree separation, a left shoulder. He'll be x-rayed Tuesday, but the Leafs figure he'll be out possibly 3 weeks. Doug Gilmour left the game, mild concussion. Bill Ranford left the game for Edmonton, hip flexor. No word on how much time, if any, Bill Ranford will miss for Edmonton.
Todd Gill leads the Leafs defense with 19 points. He is going to get a lot of ice time because he is really the only veteran playing for the Maple Leafs. They only dressed 5 defensemen. The Leafs get off to a quick start, though. Doug Gilmour to Matt Sundin, just like that. 1-0 Toronto. Leafs looking really good. And then they added that Drake Berehusky with a shot from the point. Darby Hendrickson will get a piece of it right there, and it redirects to Doug Gilmour. It's like a pinball machine. 2-0 for the Maple Leafs, but the third period is all Blues, down 2-1. Greg Gilbert with a pass to LaPerriere. He one-times it over Potvin, game tied at 2. And then Jeff Norton sends the pass out from behind of the net to Esa Tikkanen. Tikkanen in the slot, beats the screen. Felix Potvin, 20-foot slapper. You can't give a guy like that kind of room. 3-2 for the Blues. And then Adam Creighton with a shot. It's in, it's out. Go to the replay, Judge. They go upstairs, and he says, goal. 3 goals in 49 seconds, puts the Blues up by 2. That is a Blues record. Pat Burns says you're all garbage at this point. 5-2, St. Louis over Toronto. Leafs led at 2-0. We're looking really good, but then it was dominated by the St. Louis Blues. 5-2, again, the final. Blues unbeaten in their last 6 games. 3 goals, 49 seconds, a Blues record. Blues scored 3 goals in 58 seconds in the game against Toronto earlier this season, so they are scoring in bunches against the Maple Leafs.
Back to Shannon, loads it up and scores! Tipped in front. And I think it's Dallas Drake. Cowan tipped it in, but Eastwood. Nice pass, Randy Gillen in again. Scores! And now Ridley starts back. Gill is open. Here's Todd Gill. Scores! Short-handed goal. And the Leafs are on the board. Skating through center with Tkachuk. Seppo Numanen. Tkachuk scores! What a pass by Numanen to Tkachuk. Janssen took a chance, but he's caught. Solani all alone. Timo Solani scores! Comes Rob Murray, the Toronto native, firing, rebound, scores! Teppo Numanen makes it 5-1.
Killer Gilmour back in the lineup, looking like a junior hockey player with that visor to protect sore nose. Leafs on the power play here. Ed Belfour with a bad play right there as Mike Gardner picks it up and sends it out to Sundin. He puts it in the empty net. 1-0 for the Maple Leafs. The Hawks get that back, though, on a Felix Potvin gap. He makes the initial save, but can't find the puck. It's lying between his pads, and Denny Savard with some of the old jump pokes it in. 8th goal of the year, 1-1 tie. Leafs get the best chance in the second period. Belfour wandering from the crease again. DiPietro this time with an open net. Puts it over the net. Yikes. DiPietro would have liked that one. Lamenting the one that got away. Third period, Dave Andreychuk cruising around the net, and Belfour will stop the initial shot, but eventually it is Mike Ridley who stuffs in the rebound before the Chicago defensemen get over. 2-1 Toronto, and the Leafs add an empty netter here on the backhander by Gartner, and Toronto wins in Chicago 3-1. Yes, Chicago's problems continue. They have a 10-game winless streak right now, and the Leafs with that win move 2 points ahead of the Hawks for 4th place in the West. Felix Potvin 28 saves. Chicago loses another one at home, and Jeremy Roenick has gone down, and Chicago going down fast after that.
Ducks. Ron Wilson knows this is a key game for the Ducks, and they have played well over the years against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Years, of course, just being 2. After a scoreless first, Todd Gill makes a nice play. Wheels in. There's the shot and the save by Hebert, but it drifts in before the net comes off its magnets. 1-0 at that point. 32 seconds later, Mike Gartner puts the head down and takes the shot, the save at the rebound, and Matt Sundin 22nd goal. None easier than that one. 2-0 at that point. The Ducks respond before the end of the period. Sillinger takes the feed from Sean Van Allen, and Potvin squeezes him shut, but just a little bit too late. 2-1 at that point. Early third, then again it's Gartner. He takes the feed from Gill, and Gartner snapshot up high. Gartner playing his best hockey, perhaps. 3-1 at that point for the Leafs. Best hockey in a Maple Leaf uniform. But the Anaheim Mighty Ducks will cut into the lead. Peter Duras jams it home. That made it 3-2, but that's as close as San Jose, or think that Anaheim could get. 3-2 Toronto over Anaheim. The Leafs have won 4 of their last 5. None of them real pretty. Most of them by 1 goal, but they are winning at the right time of year. Todd Gill, you saw him play very well in that game. He had a goal and an assist. Maple Leafs with 6 games left have 5 on the road, and they are a much better team at home. Game and Pavel Bure, I think this typifies the season. Look at him wheeling around, making all kinds of great moves, but it leads to nowhere. In fact, it leads to getting a shot in the back of the head into the boards, courtesy of Doug Gilmour, but Bure gets him back to save by Potvin, but the rebound banged in right there by Pavel Bure. 1-0 at that point for Vancouver. Early second period, the Leafs press to tie. Doug Gilmour behind the net, banks it in off the skid of Dana Burzin. It was not a pretty goal, but certainly a big one, because that tied the game at 1 in this very, very important game. Watch this save by Kirk McLean. Ella with a shot. It drifts behind him, but he reaches back and pulls something out of his bag of tricks. Anything else in the bag? Let's find out. Leafs on the power play. Dave Andreychuk looking for his 20th of the year, and Andreychuk just a little bit too big and strong for Mike Pekka. Gets the stick on it behind McLean. He squeezes him shut, but just a little bit late. Toronto over Vancouver 5-2. Dave Andreychuk's 13th straight 20-goal season. The Leafs now in sole possession of 4th in the West, and we will tell you what it means in the standings in just a moment. Get a break there, but also in goal, Bill Ranford still out with back spasms. Fred Brathwaite in goal, which is good. The Maple Leafs trying to move into 4th place. Edmonton gets an early power play chance here. Igor Kravchuk fires a wrist shot and beats Felix Potvin, and Potvin not real sharp early on, 1-0 at that point. But after that, the Maple Leafs take control. Mike Ridley wins the draw to Dave Andreychuk, and Andreychuk quickly makes it 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. And 11 seconds later, Randy Wood picks it up. This is almost off the face-off. Here comes Wood. Puts his head down and buries it. 3-1. The Leafs up again. After Brathwaite gave up 4 goals in the first, Joaquin Gage comes in for the Oilers in the second, and that proved to be a great move. He played well, and the offense came alive. Peter White with a move, and White far side on Potvin. Game is tied at 4. All of a sudden, the lead is gone for the Maple Leafs. Key game for the Oilers, and the Leafs press to win it. Matt Sundin faked the slapper. He took a little half job, and it was exactly what they needed. 6-5, Sundin, and the Maple Leafs all smiles. They beat Edmonton, and that is an important 2 for the Maple Leafs, but I guess of more importance than what it means to Toronto, it's what it means to Edmonton. This means they are in big, big trouble. We'll tell you just how much trouble they are when we take a look at the San Jose Sharks.